I don't know what to do. I woke up this morning and everyone is still here. I donated. I sold my car. I gave away my favorite Funko Pop. Everything's gone. I guess I've heard that it could still be today, but I'm starting to worry.
The Rapture is back on, and you might think that the pastor who gave the original prophecy that it was going to be on September 23rd was wrong, but you would be wrong, because he was actually right all along. And I know what you're thinking. How could that be? You did not see any bodies flying towards the sky on September 23rd. Well, it is because we were using the wrong calendar. Jesus doesn't know that we changed our calendar, and we should have been using the Julian calendar, because that is the calendar that they used back in the day. So it is now rescheduled to October 6th to 7th.
That calendar is behind by 13 days.
Now, Percy is very relieved because he was very stressed out about this. He thought that God had spoken to him directly and that it was going to be on September 23rd, but now it all makes sense. And he is not alone. There are a lot of people who are coming back online and saying that they are sure this time.
Because when he was on the earth, the Julian calendar was the calendar they followed. So he is going to come back on the Feast of Trumpets on the Julian calendar.
Here's where I have some disappointing news. The guy that sold his car and said that he was no longer going to talk about the rapture publicly, he has pretty much walked that back at this point. He has been making a lot of videos about the rapture. And while he has not said that it will be on October 6th or 7th, he is liking a bunch of comments and kind of being like wink wink about it, because he said he wasn't going to say the exact date, but he is saying it without saying it.
I got my shofar yesterday. Jesus is coming very, very soon. If you know, you know. Wink, wink.
So it looks like we are going to get to do all of this again very soon, and I will keep you updated on any rapture news.
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Akakudash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations unto the 144,000. Brother Kyle here. With another lesson here. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And as you know, you saw the clips in the beginning, you know, with the soul rapture nonsense that supposedly was supposed to take place on the 23rd of September, right? I know I'm a bit late on it, but I'm doing a video because there's a new update as you saw in the last video with the lady talking about, you know, they was using the wrong calendar and X, Y, and Z. You know, and these people just, hey, we know all of them is not Israelites, you know, for the most part. We know that, because we know the Lord only needed Israel first to begin. So that within itself shows you that that doctrine is false, right? Because there's Hamites, Edomites, and even Israelites, in that whole rapture nonsense, right? And now they have even these other religions laughing at them, and they deserve it. They deserve it because one of the videos you saw, they put the atheists laughing at the Christians who believe that shit, and then also I saw in some of the comments, you know, that some people was laughing and saying, good thing I'm a Muslim. Well, they laughing now, but they themselves gonna be laughed at too as well because they are all in nonsense. However, right, we dealing with this rapture shit right now. So let me read this. This is Hosea 4:6. Right, it says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. And there is it. This is our scripture we always bring out because the scriptures don't lie. The Lord really say my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Right? This part they headed down, right, is leading to their destruction because here it is, you sold majority of your possession because I got these clips here, but as the elders and apostles went into, you will see other clips where people talk about, they give away their belongings, right? Like for instance, this guy talk about he giving away his car. Well, he sold his car, right? Then he went to work. Even his boss laughed at him, you know, right? And he gave him some overtime, so he still get helped out in a way, right? But if you think that funny, this other lady quit her job, right? I think that guy also mentioned he gave away his life savings, if I'm not mistaken, right? A lady gave away her phone, her vehicle, right? She said she just had was to give away her house, but I don't think she gave it away. So, hey, I was like, if it is people giving away, why didn't have some people down here in Trinidad giving away houses too? Give me a house. Give me a house or give me a vehicle, because I mean this whole thing just foolish, right? And I just saying that as a sense of humor. I mean, if somebody come and they want to sign over their deeds to me, hey, by all means, I shall provide it, I will take it, right? But at the end of the day, I know, right, based on the truth, the Lord never set a day nor time. And let me read that because funny enough, a lot of these Jakes, Edomites, a lot of people know the scripture, right? And they've been posting it under the videos of these idiots who believe the rapture, right? But I know to myself, the truth, right? When you return, and before you even return, it's not going to be a time like this. You understand? It's not going to be a time like this, right? So many prophecies had to come to pass first, right, before the Lord come back, right? So let me get that one where I quoted just now. There's Matthew 24, and I read from verse 29, and I'll probably read all the way down because this whole thing, yapa, right? So it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heavens shall be shaken. Right? So when you talk about the stars falling from heaven and whatnot, those are the missiles, right? That's why it's immediately after the tribulation, right? Those days should be dark. Those days shall the sun be darkened. You understand? Why is it going to be darkened? Because there's scriptures where you talk about the mushroom cloud, where you're going to dark out the sun, right? The chariots within itself too also going to assist with that because there's going to be so many chariots, not to mention how big the fathership going to be, all these different things are going on. Thing is, all these things had to come to pass, right? All these things going to happen. People so idiotic because you really think the Lord saying this same verse, this chapter is going on in here. tells you no day, no time. Even Yahweh shine all the time, he coming back, right? But here it is, some pastor telling you that Jesus say, or God himself tell you that the rapture is the 23rd and the 24th. He didn't tell his son, he didn't tell the angels, he didn't tell the prophets, he tell you alone, right? He tell you alone. You understand? So the prophets, the Lord only had one prophet on the scene. So that within itself is to show how idiotic this whole thing is, because if it is the Lord had other prophecies where it is he say he's going to send back Elijah, you understand? And Elijah going to do the waking up and all these different things. It's like all these prophecies, by just him doing that shit, it's like all these things he just trying to put it to naught. You understand? And the Lord say his word not going to return unto him void, right? The Lord word not going to return unto him void. So that way you saying do not make any fucking sense. You understand? Because if it is you a pastor, right, it's not going to be you alone, right? It will have others like you preaching the same thing, and whatever it is you're preaching will come to fruition, right? According to Revelation 16 and 1, right? The angels point out the vials. As we preach and we prophesy, the angels point out the vial, because why? What we preaching is the Lord's word, not our word or what we think. You understand? Okay, going down here, and where it is, boy? It's actually verse 22, right? Jump up to verse 22 and say, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened, right? So the Lord shortened the days for the elect's sake, right? I never even hear about this pastor until that fuckery happened. You understand? And here it is. If it is like, for instance, how the Lord have his true prophets on the scene, right? Great Millstone and the affiliate camps, right? We have camps throughout the whole world. Nobody Hebrew Israelites. And the ones who don't know about it, right, they get to know about it daily. You understand? Daily. Because I meet people who already who say, you know, what religion you're from? And when I tell them, they say, oh, I never heard about that, this, that. You know? That the Lord give me that how to put it, boy, that mission to preview it to them then. You understand? Because it had other people who we did encounter who said, yeah, I encountered the Hebrew Israelites before, and I heard the Lord's name before, this, that. And then it had other people who just didn't know. Right? So it had people who don't know still, but it had people who know it. At the end of the day, the scriptures talk about everybody had to know this truth. They had to hear this truth before the Lord come back. You understand? So this random pastor can just pop out and nowhere and telling you, hey, go talk to he, and he alone, the rapture is on the 23rd and the 24th. This, that, and everybody had to believe that shit. You understand? That madness. Right? But them had to go through that. Because again in Hosea 4:6, the Lord said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Right? So let's continue down in verse 30. It says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So wait now. If it is the Lord say immediately after the tribulation, right? Because according to them, these idiotic Christians, right? They're supposed to be raptured before the tribulation, right? But the scripture never say that. But however, it says after the tribulation, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, right? So this is how it don't make sense. What they're doing, right? After the tribulation, after the missiles fly and whatnot, because remember according to Job 5:19, they talk about the Lord saying the sixth trouble he will save us, so the seventh won't touch us, right? Which is seventh is the missiles, as we always go into, right? So just before the missiles land, the Lord gonna beam up his elect, right? So according to them, that will be the second time the Lord coming back, right? For them, right? Well, let me say the third, you know, because the first time he come before the tribulation to pick up the people, and then the second time, which apparently supposed to be in the middle of the fourth year or something, so. Right, because it's 7-year tribulation, that is when he comes to pick up the people, the rest of people, right? But Then it said, then, in verse 30, it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. It's saying, and then. So it's after that, then you're going to see the sign of the Son of Man. It didn't say before, and then the missiles fly, and then he come back again. It didn't say that, right? And then also it also mentioned, and then shall the tribes of the earth mourn, right? Right now, everybody laughing at fucking them, you know? Nobody in mourning, right? It says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in clouds of heaven with power and glory. We never see that happen. You understand? We never see that happen. This is a prophecy to come, right? When the missiles fly, right? It's a one thing going on right now, right? But World War III ain't start yet, but it coming. You understand? Verse 31 say, and he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other, right? And as you take, it have people, them Hamites and them, they was gathering up in one place, right? Some people talking about, oh, you had to be outside, so it won't stop the roof won't stop the rapture from coming. And I just show them, but this whole thing so idiotic. They so-called believe in the Lord, right? They'll call him Jesus, but they don't believe if it is the Lord really was to have a rapture, right? He can't pull it through the freaking roof. Come on, you understand? It's spiritual powers you're dealing with. Not to mention, as Brother Howard said, banging, just Sunday gone, right? The scriptures talk about in the twinkling of an eye, when they're going up, you're going to be changed, right? So like that, them going up in the cloud, them clouds had to be a fucking boat, as he say, because you ain't going to change, them just going to get raptured, them just going up and they're just going to be up there for 3.5 years. Doing what? You just stand up on the cloud watching everything? That don't make no fucking sense. Right? Jake really out there stupid. We don't care about the Edomites. We don't care about the Hamites. They might be doing them dumb shit. But Jake, come on. That's idiotic. Right? So it says in verse 32, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Right? So the Lord telling us about these signs. The Lord is, even though we don't know the hour or the time when the Lord come in, the Lord gave certain hints in the scripture, certain signs that we would see, you know, which indicate that timing. Right? For instance, Jacob's trouble, right? The mark of the beast, World War III, all these things. These is prophecies that had to come up leading up to that time. Right? We never see half these things happen yet. Right? World War III happen yet, Mark of the Beast happen yet, Jacob's trouble happen yet. So how the hell the so-called rapture going to happen? That's madness. But you see, they believe the servant greater than the master, because they believe though you have a shy went through all that shit, right? Them do have to go through that shit. They choose to believe that nonsense. You understand? But that is why they end up in the shit there now. But it really have people who gonna believe more shit where it is the lady was talking about where it is supposed to be the Julian calendar. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Julian or Julius calendar, right? Because it's in the wrong calendar all the time, and this, that, and all that stand nonsense. Come on. It will really have people going back to do that shit again, you know? But it's just to watch and see. So like, yeah, just give me a minute here. I can. So continuing here, verse 34, right? It says, verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be filled. Till all these things be fulfilled. All what things? Just give you a few prophecies that are to come to pass. And that's just the major ones in between, you know. You understand? Because, I mean, we don't know exactly how it is these things going to start, how it's going to come about to say, you know, but we know it's going to happen, right? Because according to Sirach 2, and I think from verse 10 going down to probably like verse 12, 13, somewhere there, the Lord asks the question, right? Has any ever trusted in the Lord and been confounded? Has any ever called on his name and been confounded? And the answer is no. You understand? We believe in Yahweh Shemioshai because we follow in his word to our T, right? These Christians and them, they don't fucking read. Because tell me how it is so much people in the comment section could continuously keep on telling you all No man know the hour or the time when the Lord coming. That is a part of the scripture. You all just completely ignore that part because some random pastor from Africa tell you the Lord give you a vision and tell him is the 23rd and the 24th of October. That bullshit. You understand? You don't put your trust in man. Right? You don't put your trust in man. The Lord's word is absolute. Right? And that man is a false prophet. Right? But hey, at the end of the day, the Lord had to deceive them. Right? The Lord had that so. He set it so for his benefit. Right? The Lord said deceived and the deceiver are his. Right? So it goes on in verse 35. Heaven and earth shall not pass away, but my Salakia, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Right? So there's heaven and earth will pass away, but the Lord said the word above his name. You understand? He word absolute, as I said. So he would not gonna pass away. So when he say all these things that happen first, right? It had happened first. It's simple as that. Right? And there's the point here. Verse 36, it says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man. No, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. This written in freaking red. Is Yahweh Shai say this? So he don't know. The angels don't know. Only his Father. Right? So how the Lord could just skip over his son, in whom he is well pleased, skip over his son, skip over the angels who never transgress against him, who 100% in a line with Yahweh Shai, because the angels were made perfect as well, right? Skip over all of those people, all the hosts of heaven, to tell some random bug-out pastor, right, who sinning, because I mean, come on, right? He skip over all of them, skip over the prophets, right? The true prophets, to tell one guy, right? To tell one guy that the rapture, right, which is a false doctrine, gonna happen on the 23rd and the 24th, right? But no, that the wrong date. It's the 6th and the 7th, right? Either the 6th or the 7th, or the 7th, or the 8th, or the 8th, right? One out of the two they say, but one way or the other, these people, it is full of shit, right? But it goes on. It says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day of that Noah entered into the ark, right? And knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And there is it, because think about it in this time, right? Noah typing the elect, he representing the elect in his time, right? So we representing Noah in this time, right? The ark will be representing the chariot, the flood will be representing the fire, right? Because remember I talk about the lake of fire and whatnot, right? So think about it in this times here. People will be drinking, marrying, giving in marriage, whatnot, and they ain't gonna know what time the Lord come. But yet still, these people had time to prepare. They even had time to sell and give away their shit. You understand? And as Ella Manatas Akbar rightfully said, which is an absolutely perfect point. If it is you believe the world going to end, what would be the point in you giving away your fucking shit? You understand? What would be the point in that? It's not going to benefit them, because it's either they're going to get raptured too, quote unquote, or they're going to be going through trials and tribulations where it is they ain't not time to benefit off of the things they give away. You understand? Make it make sense. You understand? But there's a set of spirits out here we're going to think this guy drunk. Boy, hey, this place really had a fucking go, yes? But actually I feel I will end it here, because it's not really much I could really say, on this whole rapture nonsense again, because I mean it's something that's been being said from before. It's something that's they've been trying to push right? Something Christians been believing on from however long, from since ever when. Hey, these people are not going to change, right? They're going to remain idiotic, right? Until until Yahushua come and had to chop off their head. You understand? So, hey, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahushua, right? Till next time, I say shalom. And a bad ball to this place. And all of these idiots who believe in that shit. Shalom to the elect.